I need you to stop what you're doing right now because what I'm about to tell you could save your life. I'm Dr. Elise, and for the past 20 years, I've worked with seniors in clinical practice, and I've seen something that still haunts me. Patients who ate salads every night, who thought they were doing everything right, waking up with slurred speech, weak arms, confused faces. Their families always ask me the same question. How did this happen? They were eating healthy. Here's what I discovered. Sometimes the healthiest foods we've trusted our whole lives can betray us after 60. Not because they're bad, but because our bodies have changed the rules without telling us. Picture this. You finish a beautiful dinner, maybe a fresh salad with spinach, some steamed broccoli, a few slices of tomato. You feel proud. You feel virtuous. You go to bed thinking you've nourished your body. But by 3 in the morning, something shifts. Your blood thickens. Your vessels constrict. Oxygen struggles to reach your brain, and you have no idea it's happening. I've sat with families in hospital rooms, watching them piece together the night before. The healthy dinner, the glass of water, the medication they've taken for years. Everything seemed fine. But underneath, a perfect storm was building. One that most doctors never talk about because they don't connect the dots between timing, age, and food chemistry. But I've seen it too many times to stay quiet. So before we dive deep into these 9 vegetables, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications for Senior Vitality Pro. Because the information I'm sharing today isn't just educational, it's life-saving. And I'm going to give you practical solutions you can use tonight at dinner. Let's start with number 9, and I promise you, this one will shock you. Spinach. I know what you're thinking. Dr. Elise, spinach is supposed to be one of the healthiest foods on the planet. And you're right. For decades, I recommended it to every patient. Packed with iron, magnesium, folate, antioxidants. It's been called a superfood for good reason. But here's what changed my mind. I started noticing a pattern with my patients over 60. Those who ate large spinach salads regularly, especially at dinner, were showing up with unexplained circulation issues. Tiny strokes, brain fog, weakness on one side. When I dug deeper into the research, I found the answer: oxalates. These are natural compounds in spinach that bind to calcium in your body. When you're younger, your kidneys flush them out efficiently. No problem. But after 60, everything changes. Your kidney function slows by about 1% every year after 40. Your blood vessels become less elastic. And many of you are taking calcium and vitamin D supplements, which your doctor probably recommended for bone health. Now here's where it gets dangerous. When oxalates from spinach meet calcium in your bloodstream, especially in an aging body with slower kidneys, they form tiny crystals, calcium oxalate crystals. These microscopic particles don't just disappear. They circulate through your blood, and over time, they can accumulate in the small arteries feeding your brain. Think of it like sand slowly clogging a narrow pipe. Blood flow weakens, oxygen delivery drops, and during sleep, when your circulation naturally slows and you're slightly dehydrated, these crystals can contribute to blockages that trigger silent strokes. I'll never forget Margaret, one of my patients, 72 years old, vibrant, active. She prided herself on her healthy eating. Every single night she ate a huge spinach salad for dinner, loaded with cherry tomatoes and a light dressing. She thought she was protecting her heart. 6 months later, she woke up with her left arm completely weak. After testing, we found she'd had multiple small strokes, transient ischemic attacks. Her calcium levels were high from supplements. Her oxalate levels were through the roof. And her kidneys were struggling to clear them, especially overnight when her body was at rest. When we adjusted her diet, moving spinach to breakfast and lunch, reducing the portion sizes, and spacing it away from her calcium supplements, her symptoms stabilized. No more episodes. Here's what I want you to understand. Spinach isn't the enemy. But timing is everything after 60. Your body processes food differently at night. Digestion slows, kidney filtration drops, hydration decreases while you sleep. So if you love spinach, and I hope you do because it has incredible benefits, eat it earlier in the day. Have it in your morning smoothie. Enjoy it in a lunchtime salad. Avoid pairing it too closely with calcium or vitamin D supplements. Give your body a few hours between them. And if you have any kidney issues, heart disease, or you're on blood thinners, talk to your doctor about how much spinach is safe for you. Because here's the truth. Food isn't just fuel anymore at our age. It's medicine. And like all medicine, timing and dosage matter. Now let's talk about number 8. And this one affects almost everyone taking heart medication. Broccoli. I can already hear some of you saying, wait, broccoli is supposed to protect my heart. And again, you're absolutely right. Broccoli is loaded with fiber, vitamin C and K, and powerful antioxidants that fight inflammation. It supports your immune system. It helps with digestion. It's been a cornerstone of healthy eating for generations. So what's the problem? Vitamin K. This nutrient is essential for blood clotting. It helps your blood seal wounds and prevents excessive bleeding. For most people, that's wonderful. But if you're over 60 and taking blood thinners like warfarin, Plavix, apixaban, or even daily aspirin, vitamin K becomes a wild card. Here's why. Blood thinners work by blocking vitamin K's clotting action, keeping your blood flowing smoothly to prevent strokes and heart attacks. But when you suddenly eat large amounts of vitamin K from foods like broccoli, you're essentially fighting against your medication. Your blood might become too thick, raising clot risk. Or if your doctor adjusts your medication and then you stop eating broccoli, your blood might become too thin, risking dangerous bleeds. The real danger isn't broccoli itself, it's inconsistency. I've seen patients who eat 3 cups of broccoli 1 week, then none for 2 weeks, then load up again. Their medication levels swing wildly. Their INR tests, which measure blood clotting time, become unpredictable, and sometimes they don't feel anything wrong until they have a stroke or a bleeding episode. So here's my advice. If you're on blood thinners, don't cut out broccoli completely unless your doctor specifically tells you to. Instead, eat it consistently, the same amount, roughly the same days each week. This allows your doctor to properly calibrate your medication around your diet instead of constantly chasing changes. And please, always tell your doctor what you eat regularly. I know it seems like a small detail, but it's not. Your diet directly affects how your medications work. Broccoli is still one of the most protective vegetables you can eat. It can lower your cancer risk, support your bones, boost your brain health. But after 60, especially on blood thinners, it requires respect and consistency. Now, if you're finding this information valuable, do me a favor. Tap that like button. It helps more seniors discover these critical health tips. And drop a comment below telling me, where are you watching from? And which of these vegetables do you eat most often? I read every single comment, and I love hearing your stories. All right, let's move to number 7. And this one is going to surprise you because it seems so innocent. Romaine lettuce. Yes, that crisp, refreshing base of almost every salad. I know many of you enjoy a light salad for dinner, thinking it's the perfect way to end the day. Low calories, easy digestion, gentle on your stomach. And for most of your life, that's been perfectly fine. But after 60, eating romaine lettuce at night can quietly set you up for problems while you sleep. Here's the science. Romaine lettuce acts as a natural diuretic. That means it encourages your body to release water through urination. For younger people with strong kidneys and elastic blood vessels, this barely registers. But for seniors, it's a different story. After 60, your kidneys filter more slowly. Your blood vessels lose flexibility. Your thirst signals weaken, meaning you often don't realize you're dehydrated until it's too late. And at night, you're not drinking water for 7, 8, sometimes 9 hours. So what happens? You eat a big romaine salad at 7 p.m. By 10 p.m., your body has released extra water. You go to bed, and throughout the night, your hydration continues to drop. As you become dehydrated, your blood naturally thickens. Thick blood moves sluggishly through aging, narrowed arteries. It's harder for your heart to pump. It's easier for small clots to form. And if you're also taking diuretic medications for blood pressure or heart failure, this effect multiplies. Your medication is already pulling water from your system. The lettuce adds to it. And suddenly, your circulation is compromised at the exact time when your body should be resting and recovering. I remember Richard, a patient of mine who loved his evening salads. Every night, like clockwork. Large bowl of romaine, cucumbers, light vinaigrette. He felt great about his choices. Then he started waking up dizzy, disoriented, with mild headaches. After running tests and tracking his habits, we realized his nighttime salads combined with his blood pressure medication were dehydrating him overnight. Once we moved his salads to lunch and had him drink an extra glass of water with dinner, his symptoms vanished. The solution here is simple but powerful. Eat your romaine lettuce earlier in the day when you're still active and hydrating. If you love salads at dinner, that's okay. Just drink a full glass of water alongside it and consider adding hydrating vegetables like cucumbers or celery. Your body will thank you. Romaine lettuce is still excellent for digestion, rich in vitamins A and K, and supports eye health. But timing and hydration make all the difference after 60. Let's move to number 6. And this is one that catches people completely off guard. Raw carrots. I know. Carrots are supposed to be the ultimate healthy snack. Crunchy, satisfying, loaded with beta-carotene for your eyes and skin. And they are. But here's what most people don't realize. Raw carrots digest very quickly, releasing natural sugars into your bloodstream fast. For younger adults with efficient metabolism and strong insulin response, this is no problem. But for seniors, especially those with prediabetes, diabetes, or metabolic syndrome, eating raw carrots alone, particularly at night, can create a dangerous cycle. When you eat raw carrots on an empty stomach or as a late snack, your blood sugar spikes quickly. Your body releases insulin to bring it down, but a few hours later, especially during sleep, your blood sugar can crash. This drop triggers your body to release stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline to stabilize your glucose. These hormones tighten your blood vessels, raise your blood pressure, and increase inflammation, all while you're sleeping. Combine this with mild overnight dehydration, which happens naturally as we age, and your blood becomes thicker. The perfect setup for reduced oxygen flow to the brain. Small clots can form, and this is how seemingly healthy choices can quietly increase stroke risk. Now, I'm not saying you should never eat carrots. That would be ridiculous. Carrots are fantastic, but there's a smarter way to enjoy them after 60. First, avoid eating raw carrots alone or late at night. If you want them as a snack, pair them with protein or healthy fats. Hummus, almond butter, a handful of nuts, Greek yogurt. This slows down sugar absorption and keeps your blood sugar stable. Second, consider lightly steaming or roasting your carrots. Cooking breaks down some of the fiber, making them gentler on your digestive system and reducing the sugar spike. And third, eat them earlier in the day when your metabolism is more active. Morning or afternoon carrots are your friend. Nighttime carrots can quietly work against you. I had a patient, Dorothy, who loved snacking on raw baby carrots every evening while watching television. She thought it was the healthiest choice she could make. But she kept waking up with headaches, feeling shaky and anxious. Her fasting blood sugar was erratic. When we identified the pattern and switched her carrots to afternoon with some cheese or nuts, and replaced her evening snack with cucumber slices or a small handful of almonds, everything stabilized. Better sleep. No more morning headaches. Steady energy. Small changes Massive results. That's the power of understanding how your aging body processes food differently. Carrots remain one of nature's most nutrient-dense vegetables. Just remember, after 60, even healthy foods need timing, pairing, and balance. Now we're at number 5, and this one is controversial because it's been celebrated as a healing food for centuries. Garlic. I love garlic. I use it in my own cooking almost every day. It lowers blood pressure, fights inflammation, supports immune health, and has powerful antimicrobial properties. For most of human history, garlic has been revered as medicine, and it still is. But after 60, especially if you're taking blood-thinning medications, garlic can quietly cross the line from protective to dangerous. Here's why. Garlic is a natural blood thinner. It contains compounds like allicin and sulfur derivatives that reduce blood clotting and improve circulation. In moderation, that's excellent. It helps prevent clots and keeps blood flowing smoothly. But if you're already taking prescription blood thinners, warfarin, clopidogrel, apixaban, rivaroxaban, or even daily aspirin, adding concentrated garlic to the mix can make your blood too thin. When your blood becomes excessively thin, your risk of bleeding increases dramatically. This includes bleeding in the brain, which can cause hemorrhagic strokes. You might notice early warning signs like unusual bruising, frequent nosebleeds, bleeding gums, prolonged bleeding from small cuts, or persistent fatigue. These are your body's way of saying, something is off. I've seen patients taking garlic supplements, those concentrated capsules or aged garlic extract, thinking they're boosting their heart health. And they are, but they're also unknowingly doubling up on blood-thinning effects. The combination can be life-threatening. So here's my guidance. If you're on blood thinners, skip the garlic supplements entirely unless your doctor explicitly approves them. Stick to fresh garlic in your cooking and use it in moderation. 1 or 2 cloves in a dish, cooked, is generally safe and still provides health benefits. Cooking garlic significantly reduces its blood-thinning potency and makes it easier on your digestive system. Raw garlic is much more powerful, so save that for occasional use, not daily. And always, always tell your doctor how much garlic you're consuming, especially if you notice any unusual bleeding or bruising. Garlic is still one of nature's most powerful healing foods. But after 60, it must be treated like medicine. Used wisely, it supports your cardiovascular health. Used carelessly, it can endanger your brain. Respect it, and it will continue to serve you well. All right, we're halfway through, and I want to take a moment to remind you why this information matters so much. If you haven't subscribed to Senior Vitality Pro yet, please do it now. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. I'm committed to bringing you honest, science-backed information that actually protects your health. And if you're finding this video helpful, consider clicking the Super Thanks button below. It helps us continue creating content that keeps seniors strong, informed, and independent. Your support means everything. Now let's continue with number 4, and this one is hiding in almost every kitchen. Onions. Onions are incredible. They're packed with antioxidants, particularly quercetin, which fights inflammation and supports heart health. They help lower cholesterol, improve circulation, and add flavor to almost any dish. I use them constantly in my cooking. But for seniors over 60, especially those taking blood pressure or blood-thinning medications, onions can quietly cause trouble if eaten in large amounts or at the wrong time. Here's the mechanism. Quercetin, the same compound that makes onions so healthy, naturally widens your blood vessels to lower blood pressure. In moderation, that's fantastic. But if you're already taking medications that lower blood pressure, ACE inhibitors, beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, the combination can drop your blood pressure too low. Hypotension. When your blood pressure drops too much, especially overnight when circulation naturally slows, oxygen delivery to your brain decreases. You might feel dizzy, confused, lightheaded, or extremely fatigued. And in severe cases, this can trigger fainting or reduce blood flow enough to cause ischemic events. The risk increases if you eat onion-heavy meals at night. A big bowl of French onion soup, onion rings, caramelized onions on a burger. Your body is processing all that quercetin while you sleep, when you're dehydrated, lying still, and your blood pressure naturally dips. It's a setup for problems. So here's how to enjoy onions safely. First, use them as a flavoring agent, not the main ingredient. A few slices in your salad, some diced onion in your stir-fry, that's perfect. But avoid meals where onions dominate. Second, cook your onions rather than eating them raw. Heat reduces quercetin concentration and makes onions easier to digest. Third, avoid heavy onion-rich meals at night. Save them for breakfast or lunch when your circulation is stronger and you're well hydrated. And fourth, if you're on blood pressure medication, mention your onion intake to your doctor. They can monitor your levels and adjust your medication if needed. The problem compounds if you eat corn at night. A bowl of corn chowder, corn tortillas with dinner, popcorn while watching TV. Your body is dealing with this sugar spike and crash cycle while you sleep, when it should be resting and repairing. I've seen too many patients with unexplained morning headaches, brain fog, or elevated blood pressure readings who were eating corn regularly without realizing its impact. So here's my recommendation. First, avoid eating corn at night. Save it for earlier in the day when you're more active and your body can process the glucose more efficiently. Second, when you do eat corn, pair it with protein and healthy fats. Eggs, avocado, beans, grilled chicken. This slows the sugar absorption and prevents dramatic spikes and crashes. Third, treat corn as an occasional side dish, not a daily staple. Fresh corn on the cob is better than processed corn products like cornflakes, cornmeal, or corn chips, which digest even faster and spike blood sugar more sharply. And fourth, if you have diabetes, prediabetes, or metabolic syndrome, talk to your doctor about how much corn is appropriate for you. Corn isn't evil. But after 60, your body treats it differently than it did when you were younger. With smart timing and pairing, you can still enjoy it without the hidden risks. We're down to the final two, and these are the ones that shocked me most in my clinical practice. Number 2 is asparagus. Asparagus is often seen as an elegant, sophisticated vegetable. Light, nutritious, a favorite at nice dinners and healthy meal plans. It's rich in folate, fiber, vitamins A, C, and K. It supports digestive health, immune function, and has anti-inflammatory properties. But here's what most people don't know. Asparagus is a powerful natural diuretic, even more so than romaine lettuce. It stimulates your kidneys to release water rapidly. For younger adults, this is barely noticeable. But for seniors, it can lead to significant overnight dehydration, especially when eaten at dinner. When you become dehydrated while sleeping, your blood thickens, circulation slows. Your heart works harder to pump blood through narrowing, aging arteries, and the risk of small clots forming in your brain increases substantially. This risk multiplies if you're taking blood pressure medications, especially diuretics like furosemide, hydrochlorothiazide, or spironolactone. These medications are already pulling water from your system to lower blood pressure. Add asparagus to the mix, and you're doubling the dehydration effect. I've had patients who loved asparagus as a dinner side 2 or 3 times a week, who started waking up with severe leg cramps, dizziness, confusion, and dangerously low blood pressure. When we moved their asparagus to lunch and increased their water intake, these symptoms disappeared completely. Here's how to enjoy asparagus safely. First, avoid eating it late at night. Have it at lunch or early dinner, ideally before 6 p.m. Second, drink extra water when you eat asparagus. A full glass with your meal and another before bed. Third, pair it with hydrating foods like cucumbers, melon, or leafy greens with high water content. And fourth, if you're on blood pressure medications or diuretics, ask your doctor if asparagus could be intensifying those effects. You might need to adjust your medication timing or dosage. Asparagus is still a wonderful vegetable packed with nutrients that support heart health, brain function, and skin vitality. But like everything else we've discussed, it needs timing, balance, and awareness after 60. Eat it early, stay hydrated, and you'll keep all the benefits without the hidden overnight risks. And now, the #1 vegetable that surprised me most. The one that almost everyone eats regularly. The one sitting in your kitchen right now. Tomatoes. I can feel your shock through the screen. Tomatoes are the ultimate symbol of healthy eating. Fresh, versatile, delicious. They're in salads, sauces, soups, sandwiches. We've been told for decades that tomatoes are heart healthy, loaded with lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that protects against cancer and cardiovascular disease. And all of that is true. But after 60, tomatoes can quietly create circulation problems that mimic stroke symptoms. Here's what's happening. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade family, along with peppers, eggplants, and potatoes. Nightshades contain compounds like histamines, tyramines, and solanine. For most people, these are harmless. But for aging adults, especially those with sensitive nervous systems or inflammatory conditions, these compounds can trigger unexpected reactions. Histamines can cause blood vessels to dilate or constrict unpredictably. Tyramines can interfere with neurotransmitter function and blood pressure regulation. And solanine, even in small amounts, can promote inflammation and affect nerve signaling. For seniors with already fragile blood vessels and reduced vascular flexibility, this can lead to dizziness, headaches, numbness, tingling, or weakness that feels eerily similar to early stroke warning signs. I've had patients rush to the emergency room thinking they were having a stroke, only to discover their symptoms were triggered by a large tomato-based meal the night before. Additionally, tomatoes are highly acidic. This acidity can affect your electrolyte balance, particularly depleting calcium and magnesium, two minerals absolutely crucial for stable nerve function, muscle contraction, and heart rhythm. When eaten in large amounts, especially at night, this can cause blood pressure swings, muscle cramps, irregular heartbeats, and disrupted circulation during sleep. So what should you do? First, you don't have to eliminate tomatoes, but you do need to be strategic. Cook your tomatoes gently. Heat breaks down solanine and makes lycopene more bioavailable, so you actually absorb more of the beneficial antioxidants. Second, avoid heavy tomato-based meals before bed. Spaghetti with marinara sauce, tomato soup, salsa, save these for earlier in the day. Third, pair tomatoes with magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, spinach, or almonds to balance their acidity and support nerve function. Fourth, if you notice any unusual symptoms after eating tomatoes, dizziness, headaches, tingling, numbness, tell your doctor. You might have a sensitivity that's worth exploring. Tomatoes are still a valuable source of heart protective nutrients. But after 60, moderation, timing, and listening to your body are essential. Enjoy them wisely, and they'll remain your ally instead of becoming a silent trigger. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these vegetables surprised you most? Are you going to change how or when you eat them? Drop your answer in the comments below. Your story could help another senior watching today. If you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe to Senior Vitality Pro, and click the super thanks button if you'd like to support our mission. We're here to keep you strong, informed, and independent. Remember, what you put on your plate today becomes the clarity, strength, and independence you carry into tomorrow. Stay sharp, stay safe, and stay vital. Because aging isn't about decline, it's about adapting with intelligence. Thank you for trusting me with your health. I'll see you in the next video.